Hey, Julian, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing all right. Uh, it seemed like you and Cam had a nice connection going on today at practice. What's the process been like with Cam, just getting to know him on and off the field?
I think it's been that where we're just still just trying to get to know each other. Just like I am with all my new teammates, but specifically with a guy that distributes the football. Um, just kind of getting to know each other as people on the field, off the field, and trying to build a rapport. That's what I'm doing also with Hoy and Stid, but those guys have been around, so it's been one of those things where I gotta catch up with Cam.
I think this is an obvious question, but how helpful is it when you have a practice like today, where you just catch a handful of balls, from a certain quarterback?
Say that again.
So just how helpful is it when you guys go out and practice and do connect a handful of times like it was today?
I mean, anytime you go out and execute a play in practice, I think that creates confidence, not only in your head, but your teammates' head, and for that one play to happen, 11 guys have to do something right. So, I think the more we go out and execute, regardless of who's executing, I think that's just confidence building.
Thank you.
Next question, Phil Perry, followed by Mike Giardi.
Hey, Julian. First off, wanted to ask.
Did we not get you guys aren't showing up? I don't see anyone. I only see Karen.
You got me here?
Are we
I don't know. I'm incognito.
See that's I want to see the people that
You
I'm
want to see what's
talking
going
to.
on?
How do I do that?
Did they just disappear?
Yeah, no, I think they're just they don't have their cam. That's
I got my cam. The camera's
savvy
on.
trick by them. I'm just.
I wish I was savvy at all when it comes to this stuff. Who's on the jersey? First off. Oh, okay. Custom. Got it. Noted.
The Bees gave it to me, so I'm just want to say go Bees, man, and go Celts. We got a lot of positive vibes in the world from Boston going right now. So let's go.
Wanted to ask you about today's practice specifically. Felt like you guys were going pretty quick, and I know you just talked a little bit about Cam, but what have you noticed about him in terms of what he's been able to pick up when it comes to the offense and the terminology and that sort of stuff?
I mean, I think you'd be better off asking, one of our coaches on that. I'm just trying to worry about being in the right place for the quarterbacks. So, he's a smart football player, just like Jarrett and Hoy are. And these guys are going in and they're working their tails off, and I'm really worried about going out and trying to compete myself. So it's tough for me to go out and try to speak for myself and answer that question. But I can tell you that they're all working their tail off, and I'm more worried about me and my position group, and trying to get our group going in the right direction.
Next question, Mike Giardi, followed by Mike Reese.
Julian, good to see you. On that note about the room, how do you feel like it's coming together with that group? Obviously, there are some new faces in there, or somebody like Mohamed who showed up late last season and then got hurt.
I can't hear you. Can you repeat that? You're kind of.
Try that again. Hang on. I was just saying, on that note, how do you feel like that room is coming together? Do you feel like you guys are making the proper strides as we get closer and closer?
Hey, Stacy, can we turn this up somehow? This is like super. Can you talk? Sound check it.
Yeah, I'll give you.
Oh,
can
there
you
we
still
go.
hear me? No, 1, 2. All right.
Perfect. Now we're done.
I'll try again. I was just going to say, on that note, how do you feel like the room is coming together? Do you feel like you guys are making the necessary strides as you get, we're only a few weeks away from week 1?
How do I think? I'm sorry, you're cutting in and out again.
Sorry. I just, how do you think that room is coming together, wide receiver wise?
I think we got a bunch of guys competing very hard, and working their tails off. Coach Lombardi's doing a great job getting us prepared. I mean, there's a lot of good things, and there's a whole lot of things we got to continue to work on, myself included. So, that's what this part of the season's about. It's about going down, laying down your fundamentals, laying down your bricks for the beginning of this year, and that are gonna, kind of carry you throughout the whole year. Working hard, competing, and our room's doing well at that. So, Gun Show, Mo. We got our new guys, Dev Ross, he's doing well. The list can go on. And it's fun to see, and it's fun to see a lot of these younger guys go out and see them grow as individuals. And so, that's what I'm trying to do.
Next question, Mike Reese, followed by Alan Siegel.
Hey, Julian.
Jacoby, my dog Jacob. I mean, we got a whole bunch of dudes. DB. He's been. The cool thing about. Sorry, I'm gonna go back on this. Cool thing about a lot of these new. You bring in new players. For me being here for a long time, I get to see these new players and how they run routes, and I'm learning a lot of things from a lot of these guys. And even Gun Show. He's out here running great routes, and I'm taking things from him. And just like I'm sure they're, we're all trying to collaborate, and it's fun seeing different body types, different guys. Darius Bird, he's going out here and he's running some good routes, and that I think the whole room is doing well. You got Zuber who's he's just running fast, and it's been fun, and it's a competitive room, and like I said, this is the time of year where you go out and you lay down these fundamentals.
Julian, out at practice today, all the reporters were up in the bleachers, and one player in a yellow undershirt looked up and said, "Hey, you guys, you got all your stories? You're writing down the stories." And so I was hoping that you could help me with one, and it sort of builds off what you were just talking about, being one of the veteran players. And if you were curious, it feels like a new era here, with Patriots football, and with your perspective, if you were at all reassured with what you've seen the last couple of weeks, just to know that sort of things are continuing on the way they pretty much always have, even though it feels like a sort of a new era of Patriot football.
Well, Mike, every year is a new era. Every year is a new year. No two teams are similar that I've ever been on. So, this is the time of the year that we go out and we learn each other. And I think that's what we're doing. And we're trying to find and create a cohesiveness unit, not just in our room, but as a team and as an offense, and, trying to adjust and adapt to, these new kind of this epidemic, and just like everyone else is dealing with. But I feel like, the ability to be able to adjust and to, take advantage of the time you do have, I think that's going to be a big part of how we go out and shape ourselves. And only time will tell, but we got a lot of guys that are coming in, working hard, excited to work. And it's one of those things where we're all just trying to get better, and we're all just trying to do our job. And if we all collectively do that, that's when you have your best stuff going.
Next question, it looks like it might be the last question, Alan Siegel.
All right, thanks, Stacy. Hi, Julian, how you doing?
I'm good, Alan. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Got a question for you. You mentioned the word rapport, and you also mentioned the word execution. In other years, you had work against other teams, and then you had preseason games where the speed working against another opponent would increase. This year, you don't have it, so you're building the execution on a consistent basis with yourself. Do you worry at all that the real execution for this team, and actually every team, really until the games start, and the speed will be so different that it'll prevent the execution from being there early in the season?
That's a great question, but the only thing I can worry about are things I can control. And like you said, all these other teams are dealing with the same exact scenarios that we are, and it's a new normal. So at least for this year, so I think you worry about going out and working on things that you have to work on individually, and the more you do it against people that are pretty familiar with what you're doing, because we've been doing it so long against each other, I think you can create sometimes even better habits of trying to switch things up. So I think that's the route, that's the route we're obviously going to have to go. But I think the real main thing on that whole thing is, worrying about things you can control. And right now that's just trying to stack, good days back to back, and really taking advantage of, the time that we have together.
Great. Thanks, Jules.
We do have
No
a couple
problem.
more questions. We're going to go Dan Roach and Phil Perry.
Jules, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Just
you.
just a question about in watching you out there and watching you off to the side with Cam and just watching what you're doing out here. How hard? Or what have you learned over the years as a veteran about how hard you have to work at your craft, and how much does it consume you as you go about your business on a daily basis, especially through camp here?
How hard is it? Is that the question?
Oh, how much does it consume you? Not
I
necessarily.
mean, it consumes your whole life. Every decision you make, at least in my life, is according to your football life. It's pretty gnarly. It consumes a lot of time, and uh, I think that anyone who's trying to be good or really good at something, I mean, I think they could say they do the same thing, whether it's football or a different craft, or whatever craft you're in. I think if you have obsessed kind of an obsession with trying to get some results, or attain a goal, or anything of those kind of uh, you know anything along those lines, I think that's what you consume yourself with, is what you're really trying to get. If you could think about it in your mind, you could hold it in your hand, the old saying. So, I guess it consumes a lot of my time. I can't speak for a lot of other people, but it definitely does consume, you know, and make you feel unbalanced. It's tough to be a friend or a family member, or person you're in a relationship with, especially during football season, because it's one of those things where it's you've been put on this earth to play football, and it's going to consume a lot of time because you got goals.
And the two final questions, Phil Perry and Doug Kai.
Thanks, Stacey. Julian, you mentioned some of the younger guys in your room right now. I wanted to ask you about one in particular with Nikhil. He missed a few practices. We didn't see him out there for a few days. How valuable are those reps that he missed early in camp here? And when he has been out there, what have you seen from him in terms of his effort level?
Once again, I think that's a coach question. I think training camp is extremely valuable, especially especially this year, when we have such crazy turnover. So regardless of who it is, I think anytime I don't get to practice, or anyone doesn't get to practice, I mean, that's definitely very tough, because this is where, like we were talking about earlier, this is where you begin to gain trust from your teammates. You show them accountability. You show them how dependable you are, through being able to take things from the classroom to the drills, and the drills to the team drills, team practice, and seeing. It's one thing to go out and do something right for yourself. I think another reason why I like to go out and do something right, or work hard at something, is to show my teammates that, you're out here, working your tail off for them, because ultimately it's 11 guys. It's the ultimate team sport. 11 guys have to do something right for 5 to 6 seconds. And if one guy doesn't do something right, it can make the play jeopardized. So, I think it's tough, but he was out here today, and you could ask coach on how he's doing. I mean, Nikhil always working hard. But it's definitely always tough for anyone to go out and miss practice.
Thanks, Julian.
Thank you, Julian. And we're going to cut that off there. Jonathan Jones is next.